Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Ignite Unlimited. So I'm going to tell you this morning a bit about me, a bit about Ignite, quite a bit about Ignite actually. And I'm also going to let you do a little breakout room together as well, which will be quite nice. And then at the end, I'll tell you how much Ignite's going to cost and when it's taking place and the whole concepts. So you'll be fully aware of everything. So I know quite a lot of you. I don't know everybody. I don't know Shanella. Hello, Shanella. Lovely to see you. Emily, lovely to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. I know Stefan really well. Lisa's one of our group leaders. Diane joining us from Leeds. Oh my goodness. Stefan's in Oxford. Sherelle, hello. I don't think we've met before. Have we met before, Sherelle? Not sure.
No, it's Cheryl, and
Cheryl. Oh, sorry.
that's all right, and we haven't, no. So it's
Oh,
nice to meet you.
it's nice to meet you as well. And Yael, you're on not on camera. Hello. Bernie and I have met. I know we've met and spoken. Oh, Gail's here. It's lovely to see Gail. So yeah, good. Right. Okie doke. Let's make a start. So this has come about because well, lots of reasons really. I spend a lot of my time getting emails from people who come to the groups who need help. That's always been the case. And actually, that's why I set up Business Women Unlimited in the first place 13 years ago. And I still get lots of emails, even though I don't run a group anymore. And I kind of thought, oh, I know I actually miss not running my own group. The lovely Donna runs a fantastic online group. So I'm not about to tread on her toes because I love having her in the team. But I kind of thought, okay, so how do I solve the problem of the emails I get about lead generation and business processes and all these sorts of things and move them into one place, if you like. So I thought, well, actually, this would kind of deal with that, meaning I can bring people together. And also it will give me my own group again, which I really miss. And I'm now down in Somerset, so I'm even more isolated than I was. When I was up in Hertfordshire, obviously I would call into Lisa's meeting or, well, two Lisas, one in Hem and one in Watford. Or I'd go to Talia's meeting in St Albans. And I always had that kind of sense of, I just let someone else in, that was still part of my own community that I've built. But I think now I felt a bit detached from it. And obviously I moved house just over a year ago. So I've gone through the whole moving house process. The kids have grown up and gone, which is another transition you have to go through. And my business is 27 years old this year. So I have some wonderful clients that I work with. In fact, one of them's here today, the lovely Diane Watson. And they're brilliant. You know, I've got, oh, someone not on mute. Put yourselves on mute. Yeah, thank you. Took me back then, that noise. I've lost my chain of thought now. Yeah, so kids have grown, gone, and I want to put my knowledge and expertise into you guys and support you on your journey, because I kind of think I'm towards the end of my journey now and I'm happy where I am. So, you know, Business Women Unlimited is always about giving back to others, and Ignite is no different, really. I just want to be able to support people and, you know, share that knowledge that I've built up over a long, long time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, because a lot of you know me, but not everybody here does. So I started my business back in 1998, and that was before the internet was really a thing. You know, mobile phones, you could only do 120 characters on a text. The best form of advertising in those days was the Yellow Pages and the Thompson Local, and leaflet drops and local newspapers. Social media didn't exist. There was no such thing. The word hadn't even been invented. And I found myself as a single parent in 1998. My husband and I had split up when I was pregnant. I'd gone back to corporate life, and being honest, I massively struggled with the juggle of the kids, my child, sorry, I only have one, my child, and commuting into the centre of London when I actually lived in South London at the time. And for lots of reasons, I decided to relocate back up to Hertfordshire. And then my mother dropped the huge bombshell that she thought something was wrong with my dad. And he was 56 at the time, same age as I am now. And he had then was diagnosed with early onset dementia, which completely rocked my world, as you can imagine. And my mum was then diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So here I am with a child thinking that I was going to get all this support from my parents and that I would relocate to live near them, go back to work or maybe part-time. I wasn't quite sure at that point. And I've got two parents that with chronic, very serious terminal illnesses and a child. And it's like, oh my God. And at that time, my grandparents were still alive and they were in their 90s. So it was a huge problem, huge. So I started working for one of my friend's husbands in his plumbing business, dealing with his marketing and his general admin, but mostly marketing, to be honest. And I ended up at a networking group, some of you may be familiar with, called BNI. And from then, I had lots of the other members of BNI, because it was very early in the morning, 6:30, asking me, could I help them with their marketing? And so that's really how my business was born. I'd come from a travel agency background. I had worked in marketing and events for them, as well as then latterly in medical repatriation. So I'd had a sort of history of that already. So brought all of that to the table and started sort of evolving this business, which kind of evolved by itself. Because back then, the only networking around really was BNI, or there was chamber events. And I always remember going to a chamber event and nobody spoke to me, and it was a horrible experience. I mean, they're much better now, but in those days it was pretty, I don't know, intimidating, I think is probably the right word. But I went on to do loads of events with the chamber later on. So did that. And obviously then websites started to become a thing. And I started working closely with a web developer and we would create websites for people. And I then sort of worked on all of this kind of stuff that was going on around all the evolving technology like LinkedIn, Facebook, all the things that came out during that period of time. I started running my own lunchtime networking events back in 2006, and I won't bore you with that story, it's very long. But Mums Unlimited, which was the precursor to Business Women Unlimited, started in 2011 because I had so many women coming to me saying, I need help with my business, I need help to set it up, I don't know what to do, and and I need networking, but all the networking is at lunchtime or first thing in the morning, and I can't do that. So set it up. We were the first people to do an event at 9:30 in the morning. And obviously, you know, a lot of you go to our groups, which is why you're here. And that's kind of how it all evolved, really. And my business grew into premises and staff and all of the stress that goes with that. But actually, it worked well alongside, you know, bringing up my children. I went on to remarry, have another child. You know, my children are 30 this year, my eldest, and my youngest is 23 in September. Along the way, my dad passed away, and so did my grandparents and my mum. And, you know, I don't have my parents anymore. And I guess my kind of family is my business community, really. And I like to sort of support and nurture other people with their business because, you know, what I've seen over the years, it's often silly little things that people miss. So this kind of brings us to today, where I got rid of the office when I moved, and I've got a couple of team members, but we work remotely, and I've got time on my hands to help support others. And I'm quite excited about that again, to be honest with you. So I've written a book as well called The Successful Mumpreneur, which was a bestseller on Amazon and continues to sell really, really well. And I've got a podcast called The Business Awards Show. We've got a podcast expert in the room today as well, Donna. So she will vouch for the fact of the power of podcasting. And I set up the Best Business Women Awards in 2015 when I saw that, award stages were woefully short of women. And I thought, I've got to change this. And, I've always been a believer in don't just sit there, do it, just do something about it. And, my sort of motto has always been in business, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Nobody will turn up, nobody will sign up, nobody will come to your event. I mean, that's the very worst thing that can happen. But actually, if you take the time and trouble over it, you'll be fine, So along the way, won a few business awards and won two more last week, which was quite exciting. And also I started the Tweed Countess Expo, which was born out of the lunchtime networking groups that I had that I decided to close, basically because I needed to focus on my marketing business, and the networking arena was generally getting very, very saturated. And I was finding it very difficult with, at that point, my parents were actually dying, and it was very difficult to cope with that end of life care and dealing with everything. So the events went, and out of that was the Three Counties Expo was born back in 2016, which I'm going to finish up with this year. I'm not going to continue with that anymore. Again, I live too far away now, and it's just kind of the distance thing and the amount of hours it takes to do it. So I've got a network now of over 50,000 people, and that goes across LinkedIn, my database, all the social media platforms. So I feel very lucky that I've got such a large network. And, I want to share that with people and connect people up together, which is what I'm very good at, and continue to help people grow and develop. So what challenges are you faced with in your business right now? So I thought what we'd start off with is a little breakout room. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And I'm going to give you the chance to, is there anybody else there? Yep. Is to pop into a breakout room. Let me just create some breakout rooms with some other business owners. And all I want you to do is share with each other what your biggest challenges are right now. And I'm going to assign somebody to kind of manage the breakout room. Let's create them. Just to keep an eye on the timings, and let me just make sure that the rooms have got, how long have we got? Yeah, we'll do 20 minutes. So I have now got 4 breakout rooms. Let's have a look. So in breakout room 1, Carol, would you be able to manage breakout room 1 for me? I don't know if she's on the call. Maybe she's on the call. Okay. Breakout room 2, Catherine, could you manage that one for me? Let me pop Talia. Let me move you. Hang on. Move to room 1. And I'm going to move Carol to room 3. Right, Talia, if you could manage room 3, yeah? And Lisa McCallum, would you be able to manage room 1 for me? Fantastic. And let's have a look. And Donna, would you be able to manage room 4? You are amazing. Thank you. Okie doke. Let's have a look. Right. Okie doke. So 20 minutes in the breakout rooms. What is your current challenges in your business? And then if the person managing the room can just make a little list of what everybody says, that would be amazing. And I will see you all back here in 20 minutes. And I'm going to go back to my slides. So if you could just pop yourselves on mute for a secondo. Okay, so we all talked about our challenges. Let me just put my slides back on. Go. So what challenges you guys have got now? So there is never one challenge in business ever. And anyone who says that there is talking rubbish. So Ignite is all about supporting you, as I've just said. So you've got a safe space to share challenges, create and test ideas, because there's nothing better than being able to have a group of people that you can say, look, I've created this, I'm thinking about that. What do you think? What's your feedback? And there will be people in the group that will be your target market. Definitely, and will be able to give you their opinions, but also there'll be people in the group that potentially have tried things that you're thinking of doing and may have their own slant on it. So the other thing I really want to focus on is lead generation and nurturing, because what I come across is a lot of businesses who are literally throwing leads down the plug hole. And sometimes I work with people who don't even know that's what's happening. And it's only when I start working with them that things start coming out. And I think, you didn't even know that part of your website really wasn't serving you, or that your website should actually be a cash cow for you. And if it isn't, then it's an area you need to look at in most cases, I will stress. So it's kind of looking at the whole of your lead generation process. And I think somebody mentioned about funnels. Funnels aren't right for everybody, but funnels will be right for some of you. So it's kind of, I don't want like 50 people in this group, because I want to be able to help people. So my sort of limit is around the 20 people mark. Between 10 and 20 would be good, I think, because it will give time to go through things and really start to look at each of our businesses and see where those leaks are occurring. And the leaks need to be stopped and plugged, because, there will be business that is literally slipping through your fingers and you might not even be aware of it. And so it's kind of helping you to understand how to work that out and how to deal with the problem. So also, I want the group to be a support for people who are feeling overwhelmed, and look at how you're currently prioritizing your tasks. Because I probably would guess that some of you are doing tasks in a bit of an ad hoc manner. There's a great book called Eat That Frog. And if you haven't heard of it and haven't read it, go and get it. It's fantastic. And I read it many, many years ago, and it actually made a huge difference to me and my business, because we have tasks that we hate doing. And it might be picking up the phone to somebody, it might be doing your accounts, it might be creating a social media post, whatever it is. And we put those tasks off because we don't like doing them. So Eat That Frog is based on the concept of doing the horrible tasks for the first part of the day, for example, or looking at outsourcing and things like that. And also putting things into priority and working on small rewards. So that's one of the other areas that I want to look at, because sometimes people will say to me, I need this, I need that, I need to do this. I reel off this huge list. And they haven't actually thought about what order those things can be done in to take the overwhelm away, because you can't necessarily do them all at once. People often say to me, oh my God, you do so many things. You do the expo, you've got Business Women Unlimited, you've got the Best Business Women Awards, and you run a marketing business. How the hell do you do it? Well, I've got a couple of really good people that I work with that support me, but also it's about prioritizing and looking at what's important. I'm speaking at an event in July. Is that important? No, not at the moment. And it's kind of everything that I do is kind of in a diary system, and then it is prioritized. And I think sometimes we don't really know what to prioritize, particularly when we're building our business, or when we're in that stage where we want to generate leads. So this group is about helping you with that as well. If you have accountability, like you've literally just been bunged in a breakout room today, I didn't put any thought behind that. I just threw you all into a breakout room to talk to each other. But what I want to do is put you into some accountability groups with Ignite, So my thinking is it's a 12 weeks program, if you like, for want of a better word. I don't really like the word program, but let's just say it's 12 weeks. And what my plan is for 6 weeks, you'll be with one accountability group and then you'll swap. So you'll get to meet other people and to sort of get to know people, because I think that's also where the benefits are, is really getting to know and understand other people and their businesses and the support they need. And accountability, and I know this because I've run many masterminds, and some of you will, I think Gail was in Sapphire, you knew about, the accountability side is so important, and that creates that clarity and helps you prioritize, and it means you're more likely to achieve your objectives. And that's really what I want, is I want people to grow and achieve their objectives and have that support around them to do that. So any group that I've run, and I've run a few masterminds, is always about accountability, because as a small business owner, and somebody mentioned shiny object syndrome, and that is a real thing with solopreneurs and small business owners. We get too easily distracted, because when you work in corporate, and you, all bar one person has worked in a business for somebody else in a business, you have your boss to be accountable. He will say to you, or she, you have to do this task by this date, or whatever it might be, and you will have to do it, whether you like it or not. That's working for a boss. So you work for yourself for the freedom, but unfortunately, sometimes that freedom is just too free. And then you go, oh, I think I'll do that today. And oh, I think I'll do this today. And you don't actually get the stuff done that you need to do. And so this group will give you that accountability. So Ignite is for solopreneurs who are great at what they do, but are struggling to create and nurture a steady supply of leads for their business. And it's for people who want to be part of a support group and are happy to share their experiences with others. This is very much about putting in as well. And they want to feel less overwhelmed and more in control of their business, because often people get to the stage where they're like, oh, do I continue my business or not? This just feels too much. And I'm often working with people at that stage. They get in contact with me for help. And I'm like, of course you should continue your business. You're amazing at what you do. These are the things you need to do and put in place to kind of relieve the overwhelm and make you love your business again. Because what often happens is people fall out of love with their business. They actually get to a stage where they're like, I actually resent this business. I hate this business. I don't like it. And it's not because they don't like working with the clients. It's because they don't like the kind of the admin and all of the other things that they have to do to keep the business running. And they may be not earning as much money as they'd hoped to earn. And that might be because pricing needs to be looked at, or the way you're working with clients needs to be looked at. I was working with a business recently who's still taking payments on backs and having to reconcile those. And I was like, are you actually seriously doing this? This is what you can do. And, oh yeah, but there's fees. Well, of course there's going to be fees for taking an online payment, but you're still having fees, bank charges for your backs payments. And how long is it taking you to make sure those clients have paid you? You're spending an hour and a half on a Sunday doing that for the week. That's ridiculous. So sometimes you need someone to say, look, there are better ways of doing things, so that you fall back in love with your business. And I actually think if you love what you do, it comes across to your clients. And if you start feeling bogged down, overwhelmed, you will be repelling people away from you, not attracting them, because they will sense that negativity and that feeling of overwhelm. So examples of the topics we're going to cover in Ignite. Now, I've given you some examples, and these are only examples because I want Ignite to be very much led by the people that sign up to it. So I'm going to be sending a questionnaire to people who sign up with a load of, boxes to tick. It won't take long, I assure you, but it will then give me a feel for everybody who signed up and what they want to know about. And then I will put the program together from that. So it will be around lead generation and nurturing those leads for sure. Could be website ideas and website development. maximizing social media content, because often that is one of the big stumbling blocks for solopreneurs. Looking at LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm kind of leaving X out of it now. I used to do loads of training on Twitter. I still got Twitter accounts, but we've been looking at our stats, and it really is waning, to be fair. And, you know, we've got the power of working with about 20 retained clients a month at the moment. So we can see stats from that. And it is really kind of drifting off into the abyss. Email marketing. So talking about the various softwares out there, what to put, how often to email, all that sort of stuff. Word of mouth marketing, looking at referral programs, collaboration, partnerships, growing an online community. And looking at online advertising. So, you know, Google ads, would that be right for your business? Facebook ads and other sorts of advertising online. And also touching on group programs, online courses, and how to get more from one-to-ones with your various client base. So there will be a questionnaire sent out. I don't know everything about everything, every topic out there. So I will bring in some experts as well during the course of the 12 weeks, as well as running some of the sessions myself. But, you know, predominantly what I want is lots of opportunity for you to learn from one another as well and support each other. So we're going to do 6 meetings over 3 months, so 2 a month. And that means, don't worry, the dates are coming up in a second, that if you can't make one, it doesn't matter. So that's why I thought I was going to do 1 a month. And then I thought, well, actually, I know how busy people are. That way, you've got 2 meetings a month. If you can go to both, great. If you can't, don't worry. They'll be recorded. And then you've got a Facebook group, which will be specifically for people who join this, where you can be able to get the link to the meeting because it will be recorded, and you can also put in your accountability, and you know, you will have your own groups anyway, which will be nice, that you can potentially talk to in between meetings. That more about that when we launch next week. And you know, I want this to be very much about, it's deeper than going to a networking event, much deeper. So this is about mutual support for one another. So that you'll also get access to my network. So for example, if you need help with something, or you need an introduction, or I see an opportunity, you know, I do this anyway, but this will obviously be very prominent in Ignite with the people that are in it. I will be thinking, oh, you know, who can I introduce to who? I mean, I'll give you an example. You know, I had some woman randomly messaged me yesterday on Instagram. She's a host. She just moved to the UK from Australia. She wanted to come and host the awards. I've got someone who hosts the awards, but I had a conversation with her on Instagram, and I've introduced her to a woman. Some of you may know Karen Whitchells-Plunkett. She used to come to the St Albans group. She runs a presenting agency. There you go, introduce you to her. You know, things like that. So if that's a random stranger, then I'm going to be doing a lot more of that for the people that are within my group. I do run Harness the Power of LinkedIn training. Currently it's £99 plus VAT. So I'm going to give a 50% discount to anyone who's part of this program. We've got 2 courses coming up in May and June. There'll be a discount on working with me one-to-one as well. And as I said, I will get some experts into the Facebook group as well to do lives on various topics that may be slightly outside of what we're talking about in Ignite. So, for example, I know people who are experts in Pinterest, Canva, could be sales training, not looking too far away there to the lovely Carol Boskert. There's loads of topics that we can just get an expert to come in and maybe do a live with me or pre-record a session, and we'll put it into the Facebook group. So you've got a resource there. Now, I've kept this cost really low for the first cohort. Once you sign up under this, you know, the first cohort, then you will keep the lower price ongoing, because the plan with this is to run for 3 months, have a break in August, come back September, October, November, obviously have a break in December, and then back January, February, March, and so on. So that's my plan with it, because I think trying to get, you know, commitment for one thing for people for 12 months, but actually like a month or 6 weeks isn't enough, in my opinion. 3 months is a nice, easy amount of time to see a difference, to commit to something which isn't too onerous. You know, I didn't want like, oh my God, you've got loads of work to do, loads of programs to follow. This is very much about what support do you need, and how you use that support is really up to you. So I've left it at a really low price to start with, a 285 plus VAT. That's it for the 3 months. You just one payment, that's it, job done. Or you can pay it in 3 installments of £100, and that's perfectly fine as well. So the format, I kind of think there'll be some learning, there'll be brainstorming, there'll be possibly 1 to 2 breakout rooms. This will all depend on the topics that we're covering. And there'll be some intention setting for the month, which is our action station. That's what I'm going to call it. So this might change depending on the numbers of people in it and the topics and what people need, but there will always be at least 1 breakout room. And it will be around an hour and a half each time. So I've kind of planned it for 11 a.m, but I do have some flexibility. So if the people who join wanted a slightly different time, then, you know, I'm happy to look at that. But at the moment, the dates that I've put in, I had to be very careful with the dates because I don't want to clash with my existing group leaders and their meetings, because that is also so important. So these dates might not kind of seem very uniform, but it's just to make sure that we don't clash. So I've got 2 dates in May, 2 in June, and 2 in July. And as I said earlier, there'll be a break over the summer. And then if you come back, I mean, this price will go up a little bit because, to be honest, it's very cheap. And I've done that for a reason. You will still get this price for the next 12 months. Because, you know, I could do it for free, couldn't I? But people don't value free. And frankly, if you pay something for a program or to be part of a group, you will do something with it. How many times do we sign up for these free things online and we never do anything with them? Or we sign up for a $20 program of whatever it is, and we just don't do anything with it. I know, because I've done it. So I think it works out to about 50 quid a meeting-ish, probably a bit less than that, around about that. And then you'd have the opportunity to sign up again for September if you wanted to. If you didn't and you want to step off and come back again, that's also fine. So there's a couple of links there, but I'm going to send the slides out afterwards with these. I'm not going to sit there talking about slides and showing QR codes. So what I thought I would do is, any questions? Let me just stop this recording. Stop recording.